let's get our acceleration here with the EcoSport and see how the bad boy performs. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a 2020 Ford EcoSport in the titanium trim package. First and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry H. Miller Ford Lincoln here in Provo for providing us with the EcoSport. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get right into the video. Under the hood, we have a 2-liter 4-cylinder paired to a 6-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 23 around town and then 29 on the highway, with power outputs being 166 horsepower and then 149 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end on the EcoSport. I think it's pretty interesting, this little kind of like bulge there in the center of the hood. It's different. But you can see there we've got the projector bulbs here at the front with the little turn signals just down below. And then you got the signature Ford logo there at the front. There's nothing too crazy going on the front. It's kind of like all rounded off, and just like from this angle, it looks pretty interesting. Almost looks like a car, but it is an SUV, I promise. Around the side here, we've got 205mm tires wrapped around 17-inch wheels in the front and in the rear, and the rotors are almost as big as the wheels. Just saying, pretty cool. But you can see that you've got this nice like body line around that kind of mimics like a fender flare in a way, and they kind of like bulge it out even in the back as well. Got the plastic molding there all along the bottom that continues to the bumper, and then the mirrors are kind of like two-tone with the silver there at the top. But here's like a full side angle, and just for like size comparison, there's an F-150. I know it's not next to it, but there's an F-150. There's an EcoSport. Here's our key fob for the EcoSport. Pretty simple, Ford logo there on the back, and then you've got the unlock and the lock and the trunk. This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. So you're gonna walk up here and you're gonna be like, okay, I don't feel anything, and then you're gonna see down there and you're gonna be like, I don't see anything, and then you look over at the light and you're like, wait, there's a gap there, and there's not a gap there, and then you're gonna go like this, and you press, and that's just weird. Like, this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't even have any words for it. Anyways, coming here to the back, they give you kind of like this little cover here for the rear. And then you can see with the rest of the storage, you can see there's a little bit extra under there. But again, I'm just gonna close that, and I'm gonna let that sink in for a second. Like, that is the handle. That is the handle. Now finishing things up with the rest of the rear, obviously you got your badging here in the back, and I just kind of wanted to show you guys what the rear looks like. You do get parking sensors in the back of this titanium package, and that's all before we pop in. Coming here to the side, you can see that they give you a little bit of padding here for the rear passengers on the armrest, and then you can see the seats, which this, by the way, I don't know why it's folded down, but so you've got the white stitching that contrasts against the black leather. And let's pop in and see what the space is like. So I've got the seat set where I'd have it at, and yep, I mean, it's a smaller size SUV, so it's a little bit cramped. I'm 5'11", if you're wondering. In terms of my headroom, I mean, it's relatively good all around. And see what these cup holders have. Pretty normal, nothing too crazy. I'm still not over the back door because that's weird, but that's the rear. Coming up to the front, we get keyless entry, and then there is blind spot monitoring as well. Actually, opening up the front, you can see you've got some nice padding here on the door. You've got the lock and unlock, and then all the window controls just down below. And then here is the seat at the front, and you can see you've got the nice little stitching, sorry about that. It's nice little stitching that contrasts against the black leather. Adjustments on the side of the seat. And then here's what the pedals look like at the bottom. And then here's the light controls just at the top. And there's one more look before we pop in. Starting up the EcoSport's pretty simple. Foot on the brake, push to push start, and everything will come to life. Here is the steering wheel here with the EcoSport. You guys can see you've got the little voice command there with the phones. Got that for the little center stack, and then you can see the cruise control right there. Pretty simple steering wheel, pretty normal. You have the stock there for the turn signal, windshield wiper stock on the other side, and it's all she wrote. Here in the gauge cluster, you've got the RPMs over on the left side. On the right side, you've got the speed, and then you have that little center stack that I showed you with the little menu thing you can scroll through. But pretty simple, pretty straightforward. It's cool that you get to see a little EcoSport there so that you can stare at the cool car that you bought. Hey, buddy. So here with the center screen, we're going to pop into reverse. You guys can see what the backup camera looks like, and you do have little trajectory lines that'll turn with the steering wheel. There is that little zoom function with the receiver hitch, which kind of gets rid of the lines. It's pretty interesting how that looks. It's like, I don't know, this car is just weird, okay? Enough said. Anyways, with the rest of the screen, you can see response time on it is pretty good. This is like Ford's other upgraded touchscreens, so nothing too fancy there. Pretty easy to use. Do get ambient lighting. And let's see what the colors are called. You've got, oh, doesn't tell me what the colors are called. You got blue, orange, more blue, got red, green, more blue. I guess they like blue a lot, which is kind of like a purplish blue, I guess. Indigo, whatever you want to call it, pink. Lots of blue. Just down below, we've got a couple of the vents here, and then we've got a little climate control area. It is a single zone climate. It's a really small SUV, so don't really need dual zone climate. Heated seats, heated steering wheel, a couple of USBs right here, your auto stop start, traction control, turn that on or off. You actually have a manual shift function for that 6-speed automatic if you want to shift the gears yourself. And then you can see just down there, you got a little 12 volt right there. And that's kind of like what this whole area looks like. Ooh, hairy legs, geez. Anyways, got a couple cup holders right here with a little e-brake. And then you can open up the center console, which storage space in there is actually pretty decent. There's a bucket and there's more storage. Nice. Close that all up. And then we can see with the glove box there, pretty decent size. There's a random grab handle. Wait, no, it's not a grab handle. It's storage space. It looks like a grab handle. Fake news, but it looks cool. Top here, we've got the little sunglass holder and have a sunroof on top of that, leather colored headliner. Nothing too crazy going on here. Pretty small roof because it's a small car. Who would have figured? Now that we're done going over the interior on this EcoSport, let's quickly get into pricing. So this particular 2020 EcoSport in the titanium package tickets for about $28,000. If you want the most up-to-date pricing on this vehicle, again, check out their inventory in the link below so you can get the most up-to-date pricing. I said that twice. Let's take her out and see how she drives before my brain explodes. Quickly talk about visibility here in the EcoSport before we set off. So visibility over the hood, it's really easy to see out of actually, and it's just a really small SUV, so you guys will notice visibility in general, it's pretty easy when you've got a car that's this small. See through all the windows pretty well. There's a little blind spot back there, but it has blind spot monitoring, so who cares? Let's set off. Well, setting off here into the EcoSport, and it's a pretty interesting little car. Sorry, the air conditioning's making like kind of like a whistling sound when it's loud because air conditioners kind of do that. Anyways, brakes work well. First setting off here, feels really small. In terms of the ride quality, it's actually pretty smooth for a smaller sized SUV. Let's go over this little manhole. Yeah, it doesn't really upset it at all, so really solid on that. In terms of the noise that comes through, pretty quiet as well, so I would say it's on average with where it should be. And the next thing that's kind of weird is the steering. It's actually pretty direct, to be honest. So there's just like a slight amount of play in the steering rack, but for the most part, it's pretty direct. It definitely has like a little bit of weight to it for this type of car. Usually SUVs have like really light steering. This definitely has a little bit of weight to it. Handles pretty well too. Again, it's got like that small little zippy SUV feel, and cool thing is this is 4-wheel drive, so you could drive this in all 4 seasons, no problem. And yeah, that's everything before we go and get our acceleration in a minute. Let's get our acceleration here with the EcoSport and see how the bad boy performs. There we go. You guys heard the power figures. Obviously, we didn't imagine that this was going to be crazy quick or anything like that. It's not, but what you lack in power, you gain in fuel economy. Just saying. And let's get into summing things up with the EcoSport. So again, if you want a smaller sized SUV that has 4-wheel drive, so something you could drive in all 4 seasons, because they're not making as many cars as they used to, and so you kind of got to go to the SUV route. And you want something, again, good fuel economy, 4-wheel drive, nice creature comforts on the interior, and you're not too worried about having crazy performance or anything like that. That's where I think the EcoSport's a great option. A lot of car reviewers will just drive this SUV and probably knock on it and say, oh, this thing's this and that. $28,000, brand new. They're probably giving some discounts on it. Just saying. I'm not guaranteeing that. I'm just saying they probably are, okay? And you get like a pretty fully loaded 4-wheel drive vehicle that's practical, good fuel economy. So I think it's a great option. And that color is really cool in that Chrysler. It's like the F8 green, I think is what it's called. I might be wrong. Done. That is going to sum things up for our video on the 2020 Ford EcoSport Titanium. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Ford here in Provo for providing us with the EcoSport. Check out their inventory in the link below. I will see all of you in that next video.